Welcome to Dreamed It, Then Real Lifed It, the podcast where we dive deep into the journey from vision to reality. I'm Kelly Jackson, your guide on this path of self-discovery, transformation, and intentional living. Here, we explore everything from mindset shifts and personal growth to spiritual alignment and entrepreneurship, sharing insights, stories, and actionable wisdom to help you live a life in harmony with your dreams. Every episode will dig into what it means to not only dream big, but to actually consciously create the life you envision. Let's turn your dreams into real life. I want to talk about something that happened recently. So I went out of town and I came back home with a piece of furniture I didn't intend on coming back home with, but it was this beautiful dresser, 9 drawers, and I realized this would be wonderful in my closet because I got to preface it by saying this so that you understand. Recently, before that trip, I had gone out of town. In my closet, I came in one day and my clothes rack was like on the floor. I'm calling it a clothes rack, where all of your hanging stuff. Now, in my small closet, I only have one rod that the hangers go on, and it had fallen. One of the sides, the screws had come out where it was screwed in, and it was just on the floor. So I had repaired it, and what I wasn't thinking about at the time. So my entire closet is wood. And so I just moved it, rehung it, and wasn't thinking about, because it's wood, that I didn't screw it into studs. So like a week later, it fell again. Now, this first time, it's been hanging there for 10 years, It was good. But so when I rehung it and I moved it over a little bit, like I shifted it 4 inches to the left or something. So then it wasn't in alignment with that stud anymore. And so it was on the floor. So anyway, I had realized the weight of my clothes over the years, over the 11 years I had lived at this place, and the clothes, I have just acquired more things. My collection has grown. And even though I'm really good about donating and, keeping things in circulation, I also hold on to things. Like when I do acquire pieces, I acquire them with the intention to hold on to them, to keep them, so that, have that sustainability is a driver, right? And so, but lately too, I've gone to some amazing clothing swaps and have had some friends that have just gifted me lots of clothes and things like that. So the collection has grown, and I realized it was almost like, man, the weight of the clothes has become too much for the rod. And so it fell under pressure, It was like it was not, well, it was this. It's what happens when old identity, old system, old structure can no longer support who you've become. So that old system that I had, who I've become, this wardrobe that I have curated, it's changed, and that old system does not have the capacity to hold up for it, to keep up with it, to hold it, and it showed me that by this rack falling twice. So I go out of town, I come back with this piece of furniture, and it sparks this entire closet renovation, which I was not planning on doing, mind you. Now, in hindsight, I can tell you I'm 100% glad that I did this. But, and this is kind of what the story's about, that 1 week when I was in closet renovation mode, oh my goodness, it was crazy and a mess. But that's okay. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about too. So I'm going to be telling you about organizing my closet. And I want you to keep in mind that I'm going to be describing more than organizing a closet, right? This is about evolution, and this is about kind of what I said a minute ago, identity, systems, structure, and what happens when old identities and old systems and old structure can no longer support who you're becoming. And well, there's a couple things that we're going to talk about, because I had plenty of time in the midst of this renovation to reflect on my choices, especially when my living room for a week looked like a hurricane had come through there. There was clothes everywhere, and I was going, why did I do this to myself? I mean, I knew why I did it to myself, but when I would look around at all the clothes, it felt a little overwhelming. And so this is all some of the stuff we're going to talk about, because it gave me lots of opportunities to reflect on all of it as I was doing this work. So the first thing that I reflected on is that my inventory changed. And this is the deepest one. The closet itself wasn't failing. I love my closet. I had designed a beautiful closet and developed a great system. So the system itself wasn't wrong. The system was designed for a different reality, though, and different inventory, and a different season of life, and a different version of me. And when I'm in there looking at the rack that was on the floor, I had already purchased the wood and had it cut and everything to reinforce the closet rod that I was going to hang back up before I went out of town. So I had gotten that, I had put it in the closet because it fell for the second time the week I was going out of town. So I had gone and gotten the wood, gotten it cut, had it in there ready to go, but then I went out of town. So I literally came back home with this piece of furniture, and the closet was already in shambles. It was very difficult when, all of the hanging clothes were like on the floor. So I was like, okay, I'm really going to do this. And I think that people do this to themselves all the time. They keep trying to make an old system work, like an old schedule, an old business model, an old relationship dynamic, an old self-concept. And meanwhile, the inventory has changed. You've grown. Your responsibilities have changed. Your desires have changed. Your priorities have changed. And your capacity has changed. And then people are like blaming themselves because the system no longer works. The problem isn't that. The system was built for who you were. It's not who you are now. And that's the difference. And that's what I was realizing when I was in this closet. I was like, I love this system I had, but I realized my inventory had changed over the 11 years that I'd have been in this closet. My inventory has changed. And I have been trying to have all this inventory, this different inventory, using the same system that I developed a long time ago, years ago. And I hadn't really updated it, and things felt crammed a little bit. Even though it was organized, it felt like didn't have much breathing room. And I was starting to feel like I didn't have room. Actually, it felt like I don't have room to put anything. And I didn't like the way that felt. And so this piece of furniture was a solution I saw. And it was going to require, like I said, a bit of a renovation, because things were going to have to be moved out of the wall and different things in order for this to fit and work. And I was excited about that, though. And part of that process, naturally, is that you have to pull everything out. And this is the part that nobody likes, because from the outside, it looks like you're making everything worse. And that is exactly how I felt. I felt like, oh my gosh, the room is messier. The closet's destroyed. I mean, the closet was just destroyed. But the room, like in my case, well, it was more than one room. It was the room directly off the closet, the chair, just everything in there. And then it was the living room I was using, just everything. It was quite the explosion of clothes, belts, purses, I suppose, and hats. So the room's messier. The closet, like I said, the closet's destroyed. Everything is everywhere, and nothing really appears to be organized. And progress seems to appear invisible. Internally, yeah, something important is happening. You can finally see what you actually have, okay? The stuff that was like in the back of drawers or in the top of shelves or whatever the case may be, you can finally see it. Everything that you actually have. You cannot organize what you are unwilling to look at. And you cannot create order around things that you have not inventoried. This is true for your things. This is also true emotionally. Sometimes before the clarity, the grief comes out, the anger comes out, the truth comes out, the clutter comes out, the avoidance comes out. And guess what? From the outside, it can look like chaos. From the inside, it's inventory, and you know that. And so I just had to keep reminding myself, oh, this is not forever. This is just a phase. This is a special event. This is an event. This is something I'm doing. This is going to end. And you got to pull everything out because I had to unscrew the shelving off the wall, the rods off the walls, the hooks and stuff off the walls to bring the new furniture in, to come up with a new arrangement for all the other stuff because I was like, I'm going to optimize the space in here, to organize as much of my stuff as possible in the best way, the way that it works the best for me, that does not feel crowded and crunched and scrunched, as best as I can in this one closet that I have. So I'm having to keep reminding myself, because I do not love to live with the stuff everywhere. I mean, I don't. That's not ideal. But I'm like, I'm not living like this. Kelly, it's 1 week in the middle of construction and renovation. It's okay. Like it's okay. And give yourself some grace. And part of maybe why the anxious feelings were coming up is because, again, it's like, all right, you got to deal with it now, huh? You got to deal with it now. Now it's all looking at you. And once I pull it all out, I want to be really intentional about how I put it back in. And I want new systems that support who I am now, who I'm becoming, and what I have now. So on the inside, I had to keep coming back to, Kelly, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Trust the process. Because again, from the outside, it looks like total chaos. And that's reminds me of the 311 song, From Chaos Comes Clarity. From Chaos Comes Clarity. I think I sung that a couple times. And clarity does not come first. Sometimes it may, but oftentimes it doesn't. Often clarity comes after confusion, after disruption, after dismantling, after the chaos, after pulling everything apart. Because once everything is visible, then you can sort and you can categorize and you can prioritize, release, rebuild, all of the things that we need to do. But first, you have to see it. You have to know what all you have. It's been nearly 10 years ago now, at the beginning of my intentional journey of self, when I was making some plans for tiny living, a schoolie, like renovating an old school bus into a schoolie and traveling around in it. So guys, these things are like 250 square feet at the most, maybe like 215 would probably be a better average. So I'm sitting here saying like, okay, and this was something I was actually really doing. I had a floor plan. I was on bus auctions. Like I was there, had gone to the tiny house jamboree in Austin. Like I was moving in this direction. And I still call it the best dream I ever had that never came true because of who I became in the process. And part of the reason I say that is what I'm about to share right now. So I had already downsized like over 1/5 or like to 1/5 of the size home that I had. I'd done that like a year and a half prior. So I was already had done a major downshift, downsizing, and just gotten rid of a bunch of stuff and all of that kind of stuff, and was simplifying my life and letting go of my attachment to things. And then it was like, I'm going to get on this bus and travel for 1 to 2 years around the country. And so it's like, how do you live with in under 250 square feet? And so I started learning about minimalism, and was introduced to Marie Kondo, and it was a great time for me to find her. And The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying was the book that I had read of hers. And it just found me at the right time, and it resonated and it hit, and it really helped me. And there was two other guys. They have a blog and things called The Minimalists. It's the two guys. I don't know their names, but that's the name of it. So between these two people kind of finding me at the same time, it really helped give me this outlook and approach. And I was able to, with gratitude, let go of the stuff I was holding on to, downsize, and really get to where I didn't have so much stuff. Because I do believe that saying, the stuff you own owns you, because I had kind of experienced that in my life. And so I was trying to experience life in a different way. So, all that to say, when I found these minimalist and Marie Kondo and started really downsizing my stuff in even more, I realized kind of like what I'm talking about here. You had to see everything. I had to hold everything in my hand. I had to actually know what I have, not just like, oh, yeah, assume I know what's in that pile. No, like actually open it up, look at it, hold it, touch it in your hand, smell it if you want to smell it. How does it make you feel? And are you going to keep this? Are you going to use this? Are you going to need this? Yes, it's tedious. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it takes effort and energy. And it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And so stuff accumulates. Like, even if this is a practice, like I've had this practice for shoot now, like I said, nearly 10 years. But even still, like, you can, stuff can accumulate. And if you're not literally going through each drawer somewhat regularly, I'm not saying once a month you have to go through every drawer in your house and touch every single thing in it. No, I mean, but have some sort of rhythm and flow to when you're going through your things at the office, at your uh, camp, or wherever you have, your at your house, at your wherever, your studio, wherever you have, and go through. So, like my closet, man, just to see it all, whew, it was different, and from this, I'm telling you, from all of this, what appeared to be chaos from the outside, I was finding a lot of clarity about, because again, this is identity work. The closet, that's identity work. If y'all have been avoiding your closet, this is your sign to do your closet this summer, right now. This is summer. It's the beginning of summer, or whenever you're listening to it. It's time to tackle your closet. You got this. Ultimately, for me, what happened in the closet was not just organizational. It was identity based. The old version of me no longer existed, and the inventory reflected that. And the closet exposed that, which is why it felt so freaking satisfying after it was all done. When I went in the closet, because when it's all said and done, I was just like, I just stand in there and I'm just like, I just want to stand in my closet and just look around, right? I mean, I totally do that. And I'm not just like looking at the clothing rod or looking at the dresser. I'm looking at a physical manifestation of alignment. The outside matches the inside. And that feels good. Because this is, so the wardrobe I've been curating, thrifting, because y'all know, again, hashtag sustainability. I love all of the things. So, like some of my neighbors, I've gotten some amazing things at my neighbors' garage sales. I'm not even kidding. It's like, I'm like, y'all got some good stuff at y'all's garage sales. I like to go support the neighbors. So, thrifting, estate sales, consigning, clothing swaps, just friends giving me stuff because they know I like rocking this, secondhand sustainability stuff. So I've been curating this wardrobe over the years, over the decade, let's say, for this woman I've been intentionally becoming. And now I've created this space that instead of this closet, maybe I know when I first moved there, because I was also sharing the closet with my daughters at the time. But at first it was purely functional. And then it over time started becoming a reflection of the space. I wanted it to feel good, not be just this extra place. So I took the closet door off, hung this beautiful, what is the word? Macrame curtain, if you want to call it that, from yeah, like I installed a curtain rod, and it's this macrame curtain that hangs all the way from, to the floor and drags a little in place of a door, so you can, what did the word, slide it open or closed. And I'll leave it open. But so I wanted that to be beautiful. I painted a dresser that was in there white. Just I started making it look nicer as well. And now with this more recent renovation as well, I installed some accent lighting behind the new dresser, which is really fun. I really like the way that that looks. So it's like, you know how sometimes you'll see it under kitchen cabinets, how it's just that light that pokes. So I installed it behind the new dresser, and it looks great. And then I got a new chandelier in there, which also looks lovely. And so just all of the different, and rearranged and optimized the space, and it's amazing. And it feels really good. And again, this is somewhere every day. If you think about your closet, when I say to identity work, not just the identity you've been consciously creating and curating over the years, but also every day when you go in there, not just in the morning, because sometimes you're going somewhere in the evening, right? But so every time you go into your closet to get dressed, this is you. Who are you? Who are you? And it feels really good. The closet really does now. I just enjoy being in that space, and it's nice. It's nice having, a closet that feels like an extension of you and a place where you want to be. And look, I grew up as a kid with the closet was the space where when mom said you had to clean your room, you opened the door and you threw everything in the closet and like shoved the door shut, to the point where probably if you open the door, some stuff would come falling out at you. Okay, so that's the kind of closet that I grew up with. So now having a closet that feels like a sanctuary, a retreat, this sacred little space to be who I want to be, it's a blessing, and I'm grateful for it. And I wanted you to hear that, though, about, a couple of those things, particularly the part about when we make a mess. We got to make a mess before we clean stuff up. Sometimes stuff has to get worse before it gets better. It just appears worse. I don't know what you might be going through in your life right now, but if you're in the middle of what looks like a total shitstorm, relax. This could just be the chaos that you had to go through to get to what's on the other side, right? Which could be the epic, iconic closet. You know what I'm saying? That you're going to enjoy so much. It just you have to go through that week of looking like your living room, and the nest, which is my other room. Like I said, it just looked like an explosion of clothes and accessories. So, if you feel like your life feels chaotic right now, it's not necessarily because you're failing. Maybe your inventory changed too, and your systems have not caught up yet. And before you can build a system that supports who you're becoming, you might have to pull everything out. You might have to make a mess, take some inventory, and start again. And this is what we have to do when we've grown. And so if you've grown, it might be time to get back in the closet, get organized, rearrange, renovate, create something that truly feels like you. And guys, this has felt very, very, very much like what I have been living lately. This closet was like the perfect metaphor, and I recognize this with so many other things going on in my life. And I was like, you know what? We're gonna and then I was even talking to some girlfriends of mine the other day, and like they something happened with them. I say something happened, but like they brought something up, and I was like, oh, this is the same thing I just went through with the closet. And I was like, you know what? The more I think about it, there's just sometimes I'm like, this is like a universal thing. We're going to talk about it on the show. We're going to talk about it on the podcast because I know you know. Now, before we head out, I do want to say one more thing. I want to remind y'all that check out the link that I'm going to put down below. It's whatyouwant.us/connect. Guys, there's all kinds of stuff happening in there. Some new stuff happening, some classic stuff happening. There is identity work stuff happening. There's shadow work stuff happening. There's design stuff work happening. Even if you even like the closet and all that kind of talk, there's even that kind of stuff. So whatever you might be feeling, check out that link. See what I got going on. Again, new stuff this summer is happening, and so maybe you haven't even heard about it yet. Check out the link, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to Dreamed It, Then Real Lifed It. I hope today's episode sparked something powerful within you. Remember, every step you take towards your vision counts, no matter how small. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please take a second to hit that subscribe button or leave a review. That would be amazing. Or share the podcast with someone who's ready to bring their dreams into reality too. And if you're looking to dive deeper, connect with me on social media at Dreamed It, Then Real Lifed It, or at BE_what_you_want. Or visit dreameditthenreallifedit.us for more resources on aligning your life, business, and dreams. Until next time, keep dreaming and keep manifesting your dreams into real life. Love you, friends.